If you're Jewish, why are you still a member of the Democrat Party? If you're black, why are you still a member of the Democrat Party? If you're Asian, why are you still a member of the Democrat Party? If you're Hispanic, why are you still a member of the Democrat Party? If you're part of the so-called white working class, why are you still a member of the Democrat Party? And why am I asking this? Well, not just because of this, the Democrat Party hates America, but think about what the Democrat Party is, was, and has become. Let's take this issue of Israel and what's going on in the United States today. What exactly has the Biden administration done to address the Hamas funding network in the United States that supports this group CAIR and Students for Justice in Palestine? Just two obvious examples. CAIR and members of CAIR visited the White House under Obama dozens of times. So did the Muslim Brotherhood. CAIR and members of CAIR are attached to the Democrat Party, even though it's a Hamas front group, and it's been proven to be, based on litigation and FBI wiretaps in the 1990s. A couple months ago, actually, I think it was a month ago, there was a meeting at the Department of Homeland Security on how to combat hate and anti-Semitism. There were 3 Islamic groups that were invited, including CAIR. The FBI under Democrat administrations has used CAIR as outreach. CAIR is a part of the Democrat Party coalition. Therefore, the Hamas network is part of the Democrat Party coalition. And you see it on our streets, you see it in our universities, you see it among Democrats in Congress, you see it among media members who are also mostly Democrats. These people who are rioting in the streets and violently attacking people and carrying signs talking about exterminating Jews and on and on and on and getting rid of Israel, they're not voting Republican. If they vote at all, they vote Democrat. Same with these tenured professors. The Democrat Party is a sort of protection racket, if you will, or an umbrella organization for the American Marxist movements, and I might add, the infiltration in our country in multiple ways of Islamists. It simply is. And you can see it in the policy that Obama had, in the policy that Biden has, which is the same as Obama, the same players that Obama had, Biden has. If you're black, do you know the history of the Democrat Party? Obviously, slavery, segregation, Jim Crow, but what else? Eugenics, which was focused on, among others, black Americans, was a major objective of the so-called progressive movements and Woodrow Wilson and the Democrat Party. The opposition to the Civil Rights Act right into the 1960s came mostly from the Democrats. And today, the Democrat Party pushes what I call civil rights Marxism. It's not about equality, it's about equity. That's civil rights Marxism. So in other words, it uses blacks and other minorities to advance an ideology that destroys the family, that destroys the black culture, and destroys our communities and neighborhoods, particularly in our inner cities, that are run by Democrats, many of whom are hardcore radical leftists. What about the Asian community? Well, ladies and gentlemen, Franklin Roosevelt rounded up 120,000 Japanese Americans and put them in internment camps. None of them had done anything, except they were Japanese. And it was upheld by a Roosevelt-packed Supreme Court in the Korematsu decision, a disgrace. Well, Mark, that's a long time ago. Oh, really? Well, the Biden administration and the Democrat Party and the Democrat left-wing administrators of our colleges and universities opposed litigation that took place in the Supreme Court ruling that said that Asian Americans are not to be discriminated against because their numbers are significant in terms of admissions to colleges and so forth. Why? Because they score very high on these various tests and so forth. And so Harvard and other colleges what they did is they discriminated against Asians. The Supreme Court said you can't. Joe Biden said it was one of the worst decisions. What's wrong with this radical court? And they were looking for ways to get around it. That is, they're resegregating our society. What about Hispanic Americans? Obviously, many of the people who live on our southern border are Hispanic Americans, the vast majority of whom are here legally. And maybe they've had ancestors who've been here for some time. Now, not only is the entire country feeling the brunt of open borders, 100,000 dead with fentanyl, drug cartels, the inhumanity that's going on the border, our border communities are feeling this the most. So Hispanic Americans are feeling the blunt of this. And this is intentional. This is man-made, the disaster, the inhumanity on the southern border. So why are Hispanic Americans still Democrats? And then the white working class, the men and women who use their hands as well as their brains, who get dirt under their fingernails, who actually make things and grow things and produce things. Some are union, most are non-union, but it doesn't matter. Why are they Democrats? What has the Democrat Party done for them other than besmirch them, other than smear them? Nothing. They've made their wages, they've made their lifestyles, they've made their finances poorer and are in a very, very difficult situation in this country right now. The Democrat Party does hate America. That's why I wrote the book. I wrote this book. I didn't have a ghostwriter write this book. I don't need the money from this book. I wrote this book because this party is destroying America, whether it's foreign policy or domestic policy. So let's circle back. Let's circle back to Hamas and CAIR and Students for Justice in Palestine and all the fancy names that they use to cover up their true purposes. The Democrat Party has done nothing to stop them. It has done nothing to clean up our college campuses. It's done the opposite. It funds them. It gives tenure to their professors. This is a Democrat Party that, even in the face of what's taking place in the Middle East and Israel, how Israel was attacked, keeps our border wide open. Why wouldn't terrorists come in here willy-nilly? Who's going to stop them? We're not vetting them. Joe Biden doesn't care. He doesn't care about the well-being of the American people. He doesn't care about the well-being, and I'll say it, of the Jewish people, particularly in Israel. He lies to them. He lies to us about how he stands with them while they're undermining their war effort at every turn, just like Obama did. What has he done for the black community? He's done the same that FDR did. Nothing. He hasn't lifted a finger. Remember, Biden's background is as a racist and a segregationist. That's what he was. And not an observer, a participant. So he'll use whatever ethnicity or racial group he has to for power. I mentioned what he's done for the Asian community. It's more like what he's done to the Asian community in supporting litigation that would prevent Asian kids based on merit from getting into Ivy League schools. And the Hispanic community? Well, the Hispanic community has been ravaged, as has the rest of the country, from the open border policies of this administration. The Democrat Party does hate America. And that's why America is losing its spirit. That's why American citizens are at each other's throats. That's why so many more people are impoverished than they were 3 years ago. That's why when it comes to international relations, the rest of the world laughs at him. They know he's weak. They know he's an appeaser. And among other things, they know he's not with it. And yet he's going to be the nominee of the Democrat Party because the Democrat Party thinks they're doing great. Open borders, a disastrous economy, war breaking out all over the world, and Biden wants to be reelected. And by the way, his media is all for it. The media that has been supporting Hamas, the media that has been supporting the attempt to imprison a former president, the media that has run cover for Joe Biden every step of the way, despite the fact we now know that there were 40 individuals who were giving information about the Biden crime family stopped at every turn by the Department of Justice under Merrick Garland. And that's the situation we're in today.
Want to see more Mark Levin? Go to levintv.com and subscribe now.